Hi guys, and welcome to Cleaning Up History, where my goal is preservation of headstones and cemeteries and telling forgotten stories of the past. I came across the story last night, and I thought I'd come on here and share it with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and put my warning on this. Warning, this video may contain adult content and some disturbing content, so viewer discretion is advised. I came across this story, and as I always do, I decided to do some research and research this family. And turns out that this family is distantly related to me. The lady that I'm going to talk about would have been my second cousin, like a couple of times removed. I would love to clean this headstone up. As you can see, there's some biological growth on it. But this is obviously a family plot. So there is still some family around taking care of this plot. And even though they are distantly related to me, I would like to get permission before I work on this headstone. It's really tempting because I've got all my cleaning supplies with me right now. But I'm going to talk about this family right here. I'm going to walk around to the other side so you can see the names on the headstone. And then I will talk about their story. Okay, so here we have Alta Wright Sledge. Up here on the top right corner. She was born July 9th, 1925. And she died January 31st, 1955. Now, if you will notice, all of the family members, other than George, have the same date of death. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But here in this plot, you actually have Alta, her daughter Brenda Faye, her son John Terry, sons Roy Lee and Larry Paul, and they all passed away in January 31st, 1955. There was a house fire in which this family did not make it out of. Now, you notice George does not have a date of death here. George has since passed away. He passed away in 1993, but he is not buried at this location. So this family was struggling in the 50s. George was having a hard time finding employment, and they were struggling. And in 1950, Alta was living with her sister in La Follette, and George was with his family in, I want to say it was Chattanooga, Hamilton County, something like that. And Alta was living with her sister, who was working in the shirt factory with the children that she had at the time. I think John Terry hadn't been born yet, so it was just the three children at that point, because John Terry wasn't born until 1954. Sometime by 1955, the family had moved just across the state line to Georgia, where George was working at a service station. And they had a small home, and they were all living there. was the only place that George could find work at the time. Apparently, it was a hard time then for employment. So, on January 31st, 1955, it's at 4 a.m., their house caught on fire. George stated that his wife woke him up yelling. They both jumped out of bed and ran to the front door, where George was struggling to get the door open. So he decided that he was going to run out the back door and then come back around and open the front door for his family to get out. And he runs through the burning house, escapes the back door, and by the time he gets around to the front door and knocks the door down, the house was so engulfed in flames that he could not get to his family. It's stated that the cause of the fire was an oil stove that had malfunctioned, and one of the neighbors heard a commotion, and when they got there, they found George. He was in his underwear, frantically running around and around the house screaming. And not minutes after the neighbor arrived, the house completely exploded. And the neighbor was trying to calm George down and asked him who all was in the home. And he just kept screaming, "They're all in there, they're all in there." Unfortunately, none of George's family made it out of the house alive. And I'm going to share some of the newspaper articles with you guys. That Alta was found with all of her children on a bed, covering them up with her body. And she suffered quite extreme burns. Only one of the children had burns on their body because she couldn't completely cover that child up. But she used her body to cover up her children, and they all perished that way in this fire. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm talking throughout this video, I'm going to share newspaper articles. But I discovered that Alta Wright is related to me through my paternal line. Her grandmother and my second great-grandmother were sisters. So that's the story that I have for you guys on Alta Wright Sledge and all of her children. Alta had several sisters there. I'm assuming I'm going to have to do more research on the people that's buried in this plot, because I'm not sure if this is her sisters or who this family is in this plot that she is buried with. But that's the story that I have for you guys today. As always, if you like the content of my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. And if you hit the little bell button, you'll be notified anytime I upload any new videos. And remember, a person is never forgotten until the last time their name is spoken.